duck, and cover.
Hello and welcome back to Surviving Classical Music. I'm Grace Newcomb.
I'm Andrew Byrne.
And we have a special guest today. Giovanna Baviera has joined us, gamba player, singer, all-round musical talent, choir director as well, many other things which we're going to hear about today. So thanks for joining us, Giovanna.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Let's start off. Why don't you tell us right from the beginning all of the sort of different projects that you have going on at the, let's say at the moment, but in general?
On the performance side, I'm a gambist, as you say, so I, play concerts here in Switzerland and abroad also. I have several groups with whom I cooperate sort of on a regular basis as a gamba player. Chamber music projects, let's say. And then on the side, I also got interested in a self-accompanying project, as you say. So a solo project where I play and sing, either, making arrangements, let's say, or transcriptions or intabulations of vocal works to fit gamba and voice, but also playing, repertoire that was conceived for that combination of stuff. So that's the solo project, which is kind of starting now. It had its kind of official premiere this summer, actually. So yeah. And hopefully that'll be happening more and more. And then, as a singer, it's just started to happen now that I, sing in vocal ensembles. But it's new. It's relatively new. It's something I'm going with for now. It's very enjoyable, obviously.
So those are gigs where you're hired only as a singer, actually.
And they don't happen often. Usually I do either both or I play. Yeah. But now it's also starting, so that's an exciting,
So was the first project where you had been doing singing and playing, was that Ensemble Margarita?
Yes. They kind of started at the same time. So the solo project took a long time because it takes a long time to figure out how it works. But I started practicing it or working on it as Concerto Democracy got together. But as a concert, that was the first sing and play project that I was involved in. Yeah.
Right. And when did that begin? 2015?
2014.
14?
Actually. Yeah.
Wow. So it's been going a long time now.
It's good. It's been going quite a long time. Then, we started as a trio. Mm-hmm. So Francesca Benetti, Tanya Fogrin and me. And then Rui, Stelin and Ricardo Leitao Pedro joined. And the 5-voice formation has been around since, 2015. Mm-hmm. Again, it just took a long time to figure this out. Mm-hmm. And so now we play programs that actually we've been preparing for the past 7 years.
Right.
But this is one of the really special things in your career, and also Concerto de Margarita's career, is that you've really latched onto the self-accompaniment that talent that not everybody has, but it's very, very special. And you guys you're all doing it, all 5 of you in the group, and then you've got your solo program as well, self-accompanied. Yeah. And this is something that, I would love to have a solo program self-accompanied as well. And I've been telling myself for years, just start planning it. And it's really inspiring to see that just take off, because that's really what makes the group special and your solo program special as well. We had a workshop on self-accompaniment at Scola recently, and I hope some of the participants are watching this and they can see this is an example, of how it works. Yeah. But when you were planning your solo program, this is for my own benefit, I'm asking this, how did you make yourself actually get to the point where you think, okay, I'm going to do this? It's quite hard work to put together a solo program. Mm-hmm. And if your Hauptfach, like main study in one instrument, and the other one is a second study, which is the case for most people who self-accompany, can you give me a kick to get this going myself? How did you motivate yourself to do this, or how long did it take you?
It took a long time. The first step was to learn how to sing. That was pretty fundamental. So I started taking singing a bit more seriously, and then I had it as a side subject, let's say, in Scola. Yeah. And then I did some school musical pedagogy in the Hochschule, and there I had an hour of singing a week, which is amazing, didn't have that possibility before, and I just really clicked with my teacher, and I've been going to him ever since. So that's kind of ongoing work, and it was a big part of it because I mean, you need the confidence now to be able to perform. You know, playing an instrument that is relatively new to you. And otherwise, I mean, it was small steps. So I prepared maybe a couple of pieces that I would play in a concert with other people. Yeah. And then that sort of developed. And then I thought, maybe I can add this and that and the other. And it just took a long time. I mean, I've been preparing this stuff basically since 2016 at least. Yeah. So, yeah. It took a long time. But then the other element that came in was some new music. So the program, the program as it is now also includes a piece by an Austrian composer, Eva Reiter. She wrote a piece for the combination for me, so for the gamba and voice. Nice. Yes, and the other one is Simon McHale, so a composer based in Basel, Irish composer based in Basel, who also wrote some pieces for gamba and voice. So that was an interesting element, let's say, that came in that I was very excited about. Yeah, great. Yeah, nice.
Our listeners will remember that Simon was on the podcast a couple months ago. I don't remember when exactly.
Let's ask Simon.
The middle of the third wave, I think.
That's how we're counting time now.
Sounds like feminism.
No, it wasn't. No, but I remember because you were on Zoom for that, but Simon was at my place and we had rigged it up so that he could see you and speak at the same time.
I remember.
Yeah, sorry. This is where my mind goes. To like the technical challenges that we've overcome to speak to somebody. Yeah.
So sorry, I was going to. Ouch. Your program is mixed. Then it's not. You haven't got like one historical theme, but you've chosen pieces that you already knew or loved, and then a mix of
tutti frutti, as they would say here. Yes, it's quite mixed. Yeah, nice. So it ranges from 16th century French chanson to Hume, to contemporary music, some monody, Caccini, and I mean, some of it is based in historical practice, but a lot of it isn't, in the sense that we know that they did it, but we don't exactly have descriptions of how. You know, the Humes are quite clear. I mean, they're for Laravel and voice, and presumably played by the same person or not. But I just developed on the theme and then took it quite freely.
In the way that you sell the program, right? If I'm assuming that you're at the stage where you have one program, or do you have more than one?
Nope, I have one.
So you have one, and as you said, it's a big mix of all these different things. Do you then feel that it's quite justifiable to say these are the things that I have done, and if you like the music, then you'll ask me to do it, and if you don't want me to do it, then you'll ask somebody else? Because I know that there's a lot of people, especially who are just coming out of a program, are so concerned with making like a watertight program where they can justify every single piece on the thing, and there's a theme and blah blah blah, and that's still how festivals work. They're like, this year it's the Naples year, or this year it's the whatever year, and then you're like, well, how do I fit into this? And is it more honest to actually say this is what I really want to do, and your audience will know that I want to do this because that they will feel that. Yeah. Is that a more what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, if I did adapt, I would need to work a lot quicker than I do. Sort of the theme in 7 years will be water, then I can work towards that. Just kidding. No. But I mean, I do work that way, but also I think it can work because it's a relatively rare thing to see still, a performer singing and playing. So I think that's its selling point. The theme, I mean, we all know sometimes, we've retweaked programs to fit different themes. I mean, if we're very honest about it, maybe a completely new program for each theme is not realistic if you're, working on several projects at the same time. But also, I'm quite honest about it. I mean, this is my program. Yeah. If you like it, fine. If not, if I don't fit, I don't fit. Yeah.
Because I had this, I was asked in a few days, which will have already passed by the time this podcast is aired. Olive played a concert in the Netherlands where I was asked, it's like a bassoon festival, right? And there's like half an hour slots every day where anyone can play. And they said, you can propose. We want you to play a recital. Propose a program, and I was just like, I'm going to play the pieces that I want, you know. And what is it? Well, it's all by Telemann. And then they were like, okay, well, can you give us a theme? And I was like, well, it's Telemann 24/7. And they were like, okay. And that was it. But when you look at any of the advertisement of the thing, it's just my name.
Yeah.
There's no program information whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's a bassoon festival, and people know me by my name, I guess. So it's fine. But
modest.
Yeah, exactly. I am. But obviously, I don't need a watertight, you know, like, oh, well, this composer knew this person, and they had a kid, and this happened, and blah, blah, blah. Which is sometimes like it's one of that meme with the lady, and she's looking at all the numbers. Have you seen this? Like she's looking at the algebra or the rocket science, and she's like, oh, "What does it all mean?" And I feel that we often look at programs like we put so much work in that, and maybe not think what's the like. Do we really have something in it? Do we really want?
I mean, I struggled with that. At the beginning, I thought, no, I have to do something more monothematic. I have to have a fully Renaissance program or whatever. I have to specialize in one thing. But then I thought, I really like to play all this music. And, as soon as I let go of that, actually, it kicked into gear, let's say, and it started happening. Mm-hmm. But I think also everyone has their own preferences. Maybe some people feel more comfortable doing something really quite specific and really love to dive in deeply into a subject, and that works for them. But I'm too fidgety. I can't say one thing, at least for now.
I think I'd feel the same if I ever get around to actually doing this. There's pieces that I already self-accompany. You know, we both do this in concerts already, but I haven't prioritized, or probably, if I'm being honest with myself, or had the confidence to really go for a solo program yet. I just keep telling myself I'll do it. And I think one of the reasons is that I have this collection of pieces that I already self-accompany. Plenty enough for a concert. But they're all from different areas, and they're all different languages, different, I say all from different areas. It's probably all medieval. But, but you know, it's still, in terms of my usual programming style, it still feels way too broad. Yeah. And actually, part of me wishes I could just do the same. Maybe I will just do the same. Say, I like this one, going to do that. I like that one too. Let's chuck that in. Take it or leave it, really. Yeah. And then it will probably end up being a better performance because I'll, be more comfortable with it. But we'll see. Yeah. It would be interesting to compare, to have one tutti frutti and one sort of nerdy thematic thing and see which one gets more bookings. But
but I mean, also you have to enjoy it yourself. So if you don't like tutti frutti, or for me, if you don't like being monothematic, then I mean, you're gonna spend so much time on this thing that you'd better enjoy it in a sense. But of course, I mean, you have to think about bookings. Sure, I'm not convinced that monothematic things necessarily are more attractive than non.
I think we worry about it a bit too much sometimes, and it has to look right in the program booklet. But the experience of the concert is going to be a musical experience either way, isn't it? So
exactly.
It's not
We've already got that T-shirt that says Grace Newcomb, medieval singer.
Oh yes, right? I do, with the rose on the front or the back. I can't remember. Yes,
I think
you'll have to look back in the podcast history for this one.
In the Instagram feed,
I still have it somewhere.
Because there's this, so many of the CDs which sell well. Often when we, like as early musicians, we're kind of like, oh God, can you believe, like the Andreas Scholl with the MIDI oboe, singing pop songs.
Oh yes.
What? Yeah. So there's this CD amazing. That he did. I listened to it at your place.
Did
actually.
You?
Yeah, Felix put it on. And it's all like fake instruments doing the backtrack to him.
But
singing.
Wasn't this? We might be doing an injustice here. I think this was some kind of bonus track.
Oh,
and
okay.
he was in on the joke that it was so cheesy.
Okay,
I think we'll have to check this. Okay. This is trivia.
Right. But there's also like the all-female choir who dress up like nuns and sing medieval chant tunes.
Yes, but that's serious.
Right, it's serious.
No, that's like okay.
I'm sorry. I thought that was a total like that was a cash grab sort of thing.
I think that's. If it's the group that I think you're thinking of, that's run by a musicologist, and she's into. Well, she's a singing. I mean, she's both. But it's based in research on the music of nuns, like giving the nuns actually some credit in the end, because I think it's. I mean, I don't want to do this an injustice either, because I haven't read much about it, but I think a lot of her work is to do with giving some credit back to the female composers that we know were around and that don't get enough. So I think that's sort of behind the specific nun imagery.
Okay.
There.
But in any case, I've definitely gotten a lot of these, CDs from grandparents who know that, or great uncles and aunts or whatever, who know that I'm into Baroque music, but they don't really know what they should get. And it seems like there's stuff which is just simply marketed. It's like a label has put out a CD of tracks from all sorts of different CDs that they've already produced. And it's just, they just give it a title like best of whatever, or this is the best of this person or whatever. And it just sells better. And so I wonder if you just put your face on the CD and be like, this is Giovanna's thing, or this is Grace Newcomb's solo project.
Like that.
Right, yeah. Medieval music! Ah! Like that. It could really go. I mean, you're approaching it a different way, but we're all like, because our training tells us, from where we've come from, this institution. It's telling us no. It's about the research. It's about the music of the time, and you're out of it somehow. You're helping us discover that, but you're just the vessel.
Well, there's space for both. I mean, it's also, I don't think so-called tutti frutti program is less researched necessarily. There is a lot of research, even because I count as research not only like the historical research, but also the performance practice research, but also like the artistic research. I don't like that term, but like just sitting down and imagining or really constructing an arc and a kind of an artistic conceptual scheme for the concert. That's research too.
Yeah. And also, why shouldn't we, as early musicians, why are we restricted in this sense? If you go to any later classical concert, it's a mix of the greats, It's like they can pick and choose. They do their tutti frutti within a certain genre, and I think, like you said, there's space for
Mozart to Bartok, which is
and then they throw in a contemporary composer at the end, and then so I think it all works. It's great, and then you just got to kind of go for it, really.
Yeah.
Great, now I have renewed confidence.
Variety is the spice of life.
Check up on me, how far I've progressed in a year with my solo program. Be embarrassing.
This will be part of the montage.
I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to seeing it. I can't wait.
So let's talk about something a little bit more down to earth, in a sense. Concerto di Margherita.
Yes.
So I imagine, Margherita was doing very well. From what I could tell, from somebody who's scrolling on Facebook. Like, oh, look what they're doing now.
That's always a tricky one.
Right. But I imagine that when the pandemic hit, you guys had a lot of postponed concerts.
Yeah.
Are they now taking place?
They are taking place, and they have taken place. Most of them have already been rescheduled. Some of them were cancelled. But that was quite a minority of them, and some were postponed to 2022. The group is doing well. Francesca's working very hard to promote the group, and she's doing a great job. So and she's a wizard with social media. So at the moment there is really a lot happening. We had quite a busy autumn, but also she just has this knack of keeping things active on social media, even when things are not happening. So. Right. Which seems to be an art in itself. But it's doing well, and it overcame the pandemic. We'll see, obviously. Yeah. The big question mark is 2022, 2023, how it will develop, but that's we'll see.
I guess what I'm interested in on this topic is to do with, as you had said earlier, you guys have a couple of programs which you know really well. However, there was a big gap, between performing, your last performance before pandemic and then the next one, however long that was.
Yeah.
When we get to these rescheduled performances, do you actually end up having to? Do you foresee needing to book more time than maybe the fee would allow to just be ready to have it back in the fingers, you know, and in the voice?
Yes and no. I mean, the program that we are mostly playing at the moment, which is the one that our upcoming CD will be of.
Upcoming CD.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, that one is. I mean, we rehearsed it a lot before the pandemic, and we played it quite a bit. So I mean, it's relatively easy to get back. But yeah, for any new program or programs even where, you know, the length of the program is different, or we had to, you know, put together something different there, yeah, we had to reschedule some time and also rehearse with maybe less time than we would have wished for.
Right.
The difficulty with Concerto is also that we live in very different places, so
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that takes organization to get together and to rehearse.
Especially in the last year.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
Do you tend to blast it for several days before the concert, or do you try to space it out? But it's difficult with traveling. I
Yes,
guess,
it is difficult with spacing out.
accommodation.
With spacing it out, it's difficult with the travels. So we tend to concentrate it in the days before the concert.
Yeah.
Even maybe include some rehearsals for a project that will be coming. Yeah. But otherwise, for the new program, there next year we're planning a residency somewhere,
nice.
a week to work on stuff, which will be a luxury.
Yeah, that's great.
It will be a real luxury. Yeah.
Nice. Then you can just get a program basically up to 80%. You can try everything out,
Exactly.
get it settled, and then
Do a performance. In the local parish or wherever,
Yeah,
in
that's
a living
nice.
room. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, and not just as a dress rehearsal rather than a performance.
Yeah.
Or if we're lucky, an actual performance. I don't know. It's in Francesca's hands.
Nice.
Are you back to conducting in real life, in person?
Yes. You mean choirs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm conducting. I conduct 2 amateur choirs and 1 amateur group, like vocal ensemble, female group. Yes, we are back. There was this interesting time on Zoom.
Yeah.
During the lockdown.
Oh gosh, you did Zoom.
We did Zoom.
Nice.
We did Zoom. Actually, I did a combination. Zoom with 1 choir. But before I could convince my other choir, who's a bit older, to work on Zoom, they were basically receiving weekly YouTube videos on a private YouTube account of
that's nice.
me multi-tracking myself several times so that they could practice their parts.
That's nice.
Yeah. So they got something online.
Yeah.
And then one group, they just didn't... Oh, no, they also got some YouTube material, but they also didn't want to work on Zoom. I think essentially for the younger ones, there were several problems. I mean, the older choir members, obviously, some didn't know how to use Zoom or were, a bit worried about working Zoom. But they really got, once they tasted it once, let's say, they really got into it and then sort of asked my family members to help them, work the program. And but also equally in the younger choir, there were just people who spent their whole day on Zoom for work, and so they just didn't necessarily want to, spend an evening also working with kids, screaming kids in the background. I mean, I can also very much understand that. Yeah.
So how did you set that up then? In the Zoom case, did everyone have their mic open?
No,
Right.
no, they were all muted. So it's not really like a choir rehearsal. I mean, I figured it out going along, and also with some very good resources, like the Association of Conductors for Northwestern Switzerland put up some very good material on very helpful material, which was public to figure out how to work with choirs.
Right.
So they would be muted unless they had a question. But questions were limited. And I would share my audio and share the tracks or play live with a keyboard and basically sing their parts with them. We never had a live or quasi-live digital experience that was beyond them and beyond me. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, but now it's back since when? Since the summer?
Since the summer, it is exactly. Since August, it is back. And then now with the certificate issue, let's say there are most of my choirs are fine, or 2 of the choirs are fine because they're under 30 people anyway. And with one, they've decided to limit the presence to 29 singers. So
right,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
And so does that mean that some people come sometimes and other people switch in? Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You don't just kick someone out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim.
the one who's quickest on the doodle.
You can just see one of those Rudy moments. Everyone brings their jersey in. Have you seen this?
No.
This film?
What
This is
is
a
it?
football film from the early 90s, late 80s about this kid who is he wants to be part of the Notre Dame football team.
Of
He wants to go to Notre Dame, but he's from a factory town, and he obviously has some sort of learning disability or something, but he overcomes it to basically be the groundskeeper for the place, for the stadium.
Yeah.
And then he goes to, but he's allowed to go to all the practices, and then at the very end, the last possible game and then it's time for him to leave because he's finished his studies and everything. All of the team members bring their jerseys in and say, like, I want to give my jersey to him. And so there's this whole lineup. It's like the most emotional part of the film, where everyone is like, I want Rudy to have my jersey, and then the next guy comes in, I want Rudy to have my jersey. So he finally plays, and then of course he makes the big end of game tackle, and he gets carried off the field. And apparently it's a true story, and he is the only player who was ever carried off the field by the players.
Wow.
But in any case, I'm just wondering if there was one of these moments where they're like, no, this person should really sing.
No, you should. I don't know how it works, but I can imagine they're very nice people. So I would imagine
that it would happen.
Yes. Out of politeness, nobody shows up because they want to sing in this place. No, that hasn't happened yet.
Like leaving the last mint on the plate.
Yes.
And nobody taking it.
Everybody says no 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Everyone can see it's there, and nobody, even if you want the mint,
Yeah.
don't take it if it's the last one.
Is that one of those Irish-German
Could be.
videos?
Could
TikTok
be.
videos?
All I know is when, I think I've bored you with this story as well, I have a very good British friend and very good American friend, and we had one of these last mint on the plate situations. It was a piece of toast. And I was sitting there, the 3 of us there, I was sitting there coveting the piece of toast, and obviously my British friend Lucy was as well. And the American friend Jacob probably was as well. And Lucy at some point did what you're supposed to do and said, would anybody like the last piece of toast?
Classic.
Now, if someone asks this, you say, no, you have it.
Yeah.
That's what you say. Even if you desperately want the piece of toast, you cannot take the piece of toast. So she said, would anybody like, which is her way of saying, I would quite like this piece of toast, please. And Jacob's like, oh yeah, all right. Just takes it straight in the mouth. Lucy's face. Just eye twitch.
But how does that situation then go after that? I mean, if he had said no, would she then have taken it, or how does this piece of toast just not stay on the plate forever? I mean,
at the point where she asks if anyone else would like it, that's her saying, if you guys say no, then I will eat it. So then you know that she has a...
If no one else wants it,
yes,
I will
exactly.
take it.
If nobody else wants it, I'll take it off your hands.
I'll sacrifice myself for the sake of the toast.
So then you're supposed to say no and let her eat the toast. But of course, Jacob took this as a genuine offer, which
This is the North American, the Atlantic divide. The Atlantic divide, you just state your intentions. If no one's going to eat that, I will. Oh no, I'll take it. Okay, let's split it. All right, fine. But not. Would you like the piece?
Yes, but I understood her perfectly, and then we just watched in horror as it disappeared. But
you guys.
Did you tell him?
I told him afterwards.
Poor guy.
It's nothing like having a full belly and shame at the same time.
Exactly. Yes, it was very funny.
So we're veering off a little bit.
Where were we? Pre-toast.
About manners. No, it's because you had mentioned before we were recording about TikTok videos about Irish and German.
Oh yes, true. Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very funny.
And that there was this 3-no rule, right? You have to say no 3 times.
3-no rule. I think it's 3. I've heard
I think
it from
our link
someone,
there
but
was the choir people sacrificing their place in the.
That's
choir.
right. I
That's
really
how we got
lost
onto
it.
the mince and the
I'm
toast.
completely off.
What food should we talk about next?
I don't know.
Thank you, Giovanna, for your insights and letting us know all about your upcoming CD, Concerto Democracy, and your solo program. So looking forward to hearing more about that.
Are you going to record your solo project?
Yes, I'm planning to. I still have to find funding for it. But yes, the plan is next year to record the CD.
Nice.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
Well, looking forward to hear that.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Great. So, if you haven't already, do hit the subscribe button on YouTube, in your podcasting app. You know what? Send us a rating. Send us a review. No.
Send us a rating and a review.
Do a rating and a review. That's it. All right. Have a good one. Take it easy.
See you next
Bye.
time.